In today's video, we are going to be using Cursor, which is an AI no-code builder, but we're going to use it in conjunction with a really cool tool called Dart AI, which is a project management tool with full artificial intelligence capabilities. And specifically, they have their own MCP server. MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. And essentially, I've covered this in past videos and I'll drop some links below so you can go check it out. But essentially what that is an API for AI. So we're gonna get stuck into that in this video. I'm gonna show you all the different features and functionalities, how to set up your own MCP, connection between the two, and how we can go about starting to build out an application. Sounds good? Let's get straight into it. Alrighty, so before we get stuck into building out the MCP connection between Cursor and Dart, what I wanna do is showcase some of Dart's features to you. Now, I've covered this in a video before, and I've really gone into depth of what Dart offers. So I'll put a link to that in the description below. But where we wanna go is to spaces. In Dart AI, there is a spaces section. This you can think of as a project section. Each of the applications that you build out will have its own space. So for example, there's a general section. I created a finance app, so there's that. There's a meme generator. That was another application built out. So every single application should have its own space. So what you'll do is you'll hit this little create a space button, and in here you can add in your new project. So I was thinking about it and I was like, okay, maybe we can play around with the idea of building out a portfolio, right? A portfolio website. So let's maybe call this just portfolio for now. It will assign an abbreviation, and all you have to do then is click the X. And now you've got this portfolio with a cool little emoji of a briefcase, and you've got the tasks section automatically underneath it. Once you open up the tasks section, you can go ahead and create all your different tasks. So once you click create task, you can add as much information or as little information as you can possibly think of. So for example, if we say something along the lines of, I want to create a portfolio website for myself. My name is Jagger. I'm in the AI and automation space. I want the website to have a newsletter section, which will link to my newsletter, AI the Boring. I want it to have a contact section where people can contact me, and maybe a section of past projects that I've worked on. Alrighty, so right there we've got this task over here. And what you can now do is you can use AI. Whenever you see something purple on Dart, it's pretty much artificial intelligence. So what you can do in the description here is if you hit the /, it'll bring out a bunch of AI options. So you can ask AI to fill out the different properties. You can ask it to break it into subtasks, take that main task and break it into subtasks, brainstorm methods, or write the description for us. So for example, if we go ahead and say, okay, let's write the description. You can click that, you can put your hands up, and AI will write the description based on the little bit of pieces of information that you've given it. Or you can write it out yourself, and it will take all of that into account when it's building out your tasks. You can then obviously go and make some changes. So you can see here to create your portfolio website, follow these steps, so forth, so forth. So you can click keep, and you can go ahead and say create task, and it will create that task in your task pane or your task page. It's got a status, which you can then go ahead and update, or we're going to get Cursor to update, and it obviously is going to assign it to whoever is in your team. So what we're going to do is let's add a couple other tasks, right? Some high level stuff. So let's go ahead and say create a newsletter section. Cool, so we've got that as a task. We're going to create another one. Create a contact form section at the bottom of the page. Cool, that's done. And then maybe we can add in create an ultimate landing page. Alrighty, so as you go through, like when you have an idea in mind, obviously it's very all over the place and it's very segmented. So when you come to Dart AI, it allows you to kind of spitball your ideas. So like we're doing now, where I want to create this section and have that capability and this function and incorporate this and whatever the case is, you can build that out, list them as tasks, and then we're going to use AI to kind of build those out. And then when we get to MCP, we can have Cursor just take those in and build it for us, which I think just the workflow just really 10x's the productivity workflow that I've got when it comes to building out applications, both for myself and for my clients. Alrighty, so this is the exciting part, setting up MCP. So what you want to do in Dart AI is come down to the settings button, click on that. You then come to the AI section, and there's an MCP section, right? So you go to that subsection there, and here you'll see integrate Dart with any MCP client to look through, create and update tasks and docs without having to leave the application. There's a big button here, click link in Dart in any MCP application. We're gonna click on that. It'll bring you to a GitHub page. Do not stress if you've never coded before in your life and you're not technical, don't freak out. We're gonna literally take one tiny little snippet of code. It's super, super simple. I'll show you and I'll step you through it very, very slowly. So you're gonna come right down to set up MCP server, right? There's a couple of steps here. What you'll have to do, install npx, which is literally you click on this, it'll open up a link. It's Node.js. This is literally a standalone or a Mac OS installer. Download it and install it. Very, very simple and easy. That's all you'll do. And then what you want to do is there's this piece of code in step number 3. We'll come back to step number 2. We'll need this piece of code, right? So just keep that in mind. While we do that, I'm going to park that and we're going to come and open up Cursor, which I've got over here. I'm going to just drag this across. We've got Cursor over here. What we're going to do is we're going to open up a new project in Cursor. Let's create a project for our project. Let's create a new folder. Let's call it our, say, test project for Dart. Create that folder, open that up, and there we go. We've got that open over here, test project for Dart, and we're in Cursor now. In order to find the MCP section in Cursor, you want to come through to the settings. You want to go to Cursor settings, click on that. Come down to the MCP section as well. And over here, you can add a new global MCP server. We've got to set up this server to connect Cursor to Dart AI. You only have to do this once. So what you want to do here is I had something set up, so don't stress about that. This piece of code looks very, very similar to the piece of code we had on the GitHub page. So that's what we're going to do is you want to come over to GitHub. Let's just open that up again. This piece of code over here, you want to click copy. Copy that, you come back to Cursor, and we're literally going to replace this entire thing with the new piece of code, right? And we'll go into the mcp.json file, and once that's there, what you need to do is you come down to Dart token. It starts with DSA, and you can see ... We've got to copy our specific token. It's our unique address, so it shows, that it will tell Cursor to connect to our Dart AI project and not anyone else's. So in order to get that, again, let's come back to our browser. Let's go back to Dart. And what you want to do then is you want to come through to account, go all the way down, and you'll see this is your token. Do not share this token with anyone. I will reset mine post this session, but it's always obviously emphasized to not share that. So we click copy authentication token. And then last step, come back to Cursor, and this whole little placeholder, highlight that and then paste in your new token. Once that's done, you can click X, say obviously definitely save. And now you can see our MCP server there is Dart and it just went green. And over here, we've got all these different tools. And these tools are what we're going to use to communicate or execute communications between Cursor and Dart AI, which is really, really awesome and exciting. Alrighty, so I just checked it and I'll show you this again, but we're going to list all the tasks within Dart. So the way we're going to do this is we're literally going to say, please can you list all the tasks within the portfolio project dartboard, right? So we're going to just ask this via Cursor. It's going to connect via MCP to Dart, and it's going to pull in all the tasks that we created. So right over there, you can see here all the tasks within the portfolio / task dartboard, and there's 3 that we created, the one really longer one, and then our last 2, which were kind of just ideas. If you need any more details about these tasks or want to manage them, let me know. So now you can manage these tasks from Cursor. Alrighty, so now we want to start our project. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, let's get started on the first task. So we're going to say that, and we're going to send that through. See, great. The first task is I want to create a portfolio website, yada, yada, yada. To get started, here's the suggested plan is choose a platform or tech stack, design the layout, go forth. Once you confirm your preferences, scaffold the project and start building. So we're going to go ahead and say, I'm easy with the approach. I'll leave it up to you to go through each of those points and come out with a decision. So I'm going to say that, I'm going to say enter, and there you go. Perfect. Here's the approach I recommend. It's giving you a chosen approach. It's going through the different steps. So a portfolio scaffold, design layout, gather content. Next phase, I'll scaffold the project. Would you like the project to be set up in a specific directory, or should I create a new one called portfolio site? Please can you create a new one? Cool. And right over there, please create a new one. And there you go. It starts coding your project using AI. In some cases, you'll just have to approve some things. For example, over here, just click OK to proceed. So, it's just approving, but on Cursor, there's actually a YOLO mode. So you can kind of let it approve anything it asks you for, which can be a little bit scary, but I think it's a good idea nonetheless. And it will basically go through each of those steps. So we're going to let it run through these steps, and then we're going to see what our output is, start looking at that, and then we can obviously build as we go. Alrighty, so what we've done is we've run the command npm run dev. That will open up our local host. And if we go back to our browser, you can see over here, we're in our localhost 3000, and this is our starting point, right? This is our landing page, which has the section around myself, who I am, a little bit of a welcome message, the newsletter, past projects, and then the contact me kind of section of it. And we've got a footer at the bottom. So yeah, good starting point, exactly what we wanted as part of that first task. So really good starting point, and we'll move on to the next task right now. Alrighty, so what I said next was I've reviewed the project so far. It's looking good. Could you please close the first task in Dart? It then lists all tasks, updates the actual task from doing to done in Dart. And it says here the first task has been marked as complete. If we go through to dashboard over here, you can see it has been completed. So next up, we'll do the same thing, like execute the next task. Sounds good. Could we please execute the next task? Put over there, send that through. So the next task is to create a newsletter section. Let me know what your preference is. Proceed as is. It's going to then go ahead and update the task. And there we go. The second task has been marked as complete as well. If we can read over here, we wanted to create a newsletter section. We already have a newsletter section. So it says here, the section is already scaffolded on your homepage. Let's make sure it's fully functional. So it's updated that. So we should have an updated task. If we go back through over there, you can see our newsletter section has been completed and moved to done as well. So you can literally just start communicating from Cursor all the way through to Dart, and the same back and forth. Alrighty, so the next one is a contact form section, which already exists. So we're actually gonna ask it to create our landing page. So let's go back over here. Let's say, please can you execute the landing page task, and so that we can add that to the application. Cool, let's send that through. Create the ultimate landing page. Here's how I'll proceed. Add a new dedicated landing page to your application. This will be the actual route for it. We'll feature a bold introduction, call to action. I'll scaffold that with placeholder content and modern layout, and it's going to execute that. And now it's going through the updating of that task. Create an ultimate landing page has been completed. You can now proceed to visit landing in your app to see the new landing page. So let's go back to our browser and let's go over here. Let's refresh. The route here is /landing. So let's just go there. And here you go. This is landing page. Welcome to Jagger's AI and automation portfolio, about Jagger, and obviously very similar information over here, but in obviously from the landing page perspective. So it's then gone ahead and built that out. If we go back to Dart, you can see the ultimate landing page has now been updated to be completed as well. Okay, so this is great, but in our application, going from the main page to this landing page, we have to actually go to the actual URL and enter in /landing, which we don't want. So let's go back to Cursor and let's say, in order to access the landing page, I've got to actually add /landing to the URL. So can we create a button on both pages so that I can switch between the two? And can you create a task in Dart for this, please? All right, so we've asked it there, and I'm gonna let that run to one, create a button. So Cursor, please can you create a button? And then we need to track that, right? We want to create that as a feature. It's a task that we want to execute, but we're not doing it in Dart first. We're doing it in Cursor. So as we go through the application, you build things out, it works in a vice versa manner. So here, in order to access the landing page, I've got to add landing. It's going to go through all those things, navigating the buttons. Alrighty, so now it says it's complete. So let's go back to our browser. Let's reload this, and over here you've got go to home page, go to landing page, go to home page, go to landing page. So we've got our button. Now hopefully we've got a button here. So let's open this up. Add navigation buttons to switch between home and landing pages. Add a visually distinct button at the top right of both the home page and the landing page so that users can easily switch. And it created their task for us. And only other thing we would have to then say, if we go back to cursor, is saying, that's awesome. Can you please close the task as done within Dart? And there you go. We're asking it to update the task status. And there you see it updated the task using that MCP tool. Now again, if we come back to our browser, there we go. Its status has been updated to done. As easy as that. So you can go from Dart to cursor, from cursor to Dart. And at the end of this, you can track all the features that are created, all the tasks that were created, both from whatever you're coding. So say you get into a vibe coding state and you're just stuck into your application, you're building out all these different things. At the end, it looks great and you're like, damn, what did I do? You can then literally go back to Dart and it will have listed out all the different tasks and it will document it for you. Like think about I said quite a minimal little snippet to say we need a home and landing page and I can't navigate between the two. I took that, I created an awesome task title, a description, assigned a specific person to it, and now we've even updated the status to done. And it just allows you to be 10 times more productive than you would be just sitting there prompting away into an oblivion. And I think that's the true power of Dart. And that is the video, everybody. I would highly recommend go check out Dart. There'll be a link in the description below. I think they're one of the most underrated tools out there. Everybody wants to vibe code. Everyone wants to build out software, and that is amazing. And AI has given us the ability to do that, even if you're not a technical person. But how are you tracking that? How are you doing it in a systematic way that you're actually going to lead to building out a proper, good piece of software that you could potentially sell or create into a software as a service, and charge people for, because ultimately what are you building towards, right? So whether you're doing this as a hobby or you're doing this for clients, I think Dart AI allows you to just monitor and track every single aspect that you're doing from a vibe coding perspective, whether you're in Cursor doing it or you're in Dart planning out your project. And then go check out the other video I've done on Dart, looks at their roadmap, how to set up different features. The dashboard feature is amazing. There's a whole bunch more that you can do in terms of visualizations and actual reporting around your project. And I think it will just take you that step above everybody else. So definitely go check that out. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. One last ask from me is if this was beneficial, please consider liking and subscribing. It does amazing things for the channel. And one last little piece is my private membership community. The waitlist is open, so you can go and sign up for that. There'll be a link in the description below. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Cheers.